I have already pre-ordered the one by Hobby Sakura. Now I need to get this as well. It is so painful. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your weekly figure news fix. This time around 25th to 30th of August 2025. And after a relatively quiet week last week, we are back in full swing with an amazing week of figure pre-orders, especially on the genuine figure side. On the third party side, not as interesting, maybe 2 or 3 nice figures, but we have a lot of stuff to go through this week, and there is a little bit of everything for everyone. Goddess of Victory Nikke, Azur Lane, Arknights, yeah, a lot of stuff to go through, and the original artwork as well as ecchi figures this week are also amazing. Without further ado, let's move on to Hobby Link Japan to check out genuine figures on pre-order this week. They are this channel's official partner for genuine figures from Japan. And starting off with 1x4 scale as usual, we have an original character Kiss Me More illustrated by Love Kakao Deluxe Edition by Party Look, a premium ecchi figure brand that is based in China. So how are they doing it despite being based in China? I don't know. I would like to know the answer. And this is going for 47,000 yen, including a wall scroll, which is very expensive for what it is. Initially, I was asking myself, is that a jellyfish or is that some alien? And then the closer I look, oh, it is actually a human skeleton. At least the head and the cervical area and yeah, the torso, right? So it is a really nice concept art. I like the art style of this. I like the concept of it, but 47k for what is basically a Hadaka figure. This is not that different from Free Ink's overpriced bunny girls. Both are low detail and both cost a lot. So I think this is overpriced. This shouldn't be more than 40,000 yen. That is my opinion, of course. You can get her without the wall scroll for 45k, but you are still getting a print of some kind in the box. Yeah, so only 2,000 yen difference. If you want one, maybe go all out. Moving on to the next one, we have 2 re-releases from Free Ink. They are both 1x4 scale. The first one is Holo from Spice and Wolf, 28k, releasing in January next year. And my opinion on this is very simple. Buy anything else that is 1x7 scale. Seriously. Maybe because I prefer detail over a big size. To me, size is just a bonus. If the figure is big and detailed, I'm not complaining. But if it is big and plain, then you know, I would prefer something smaller and more detailed. So regardless of which brand I look at, Kadokawa, Good Smile, or any other brands that made a scale figure of Holo, I would rather you get that over this one. Yeah. Moving on to the next one here, Lam from Urusei Yatsura. She is incredibly popular, so her 1x4 scale is getting a re-release, 30,000 yen, releasing in February next year. I've seen people with their own shrine, their own Lam shrine. They published the photo on myfigurecollection.net, their entire Lam collection, so many figures of this character, and yeah, it was like picture of the day or something like that. So she's incredibly popular for a character that I'm not showing much interest in because I'm not exactly a fan of the 90s or early 2000s style anime character design, you know. The older anime, their eyes. Older anime, their eyes are like vertical, no? Oval and vertical. I'm not exactly a fan of that. But yeah, she is still a great looking character. And between this and Holo earlier, this is still a better buy. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, also by Free Ink, but now we are entering 1x6 scale territory. So unfortunately, this is not a 1/4. I think this one deserves a 1/4. Though it might go over 40,000 yen, knowing how Free Ink prices their stuff. We are looking at 1x6 scale Samurai Bunny Botan, designed by Saitom. Saitom art is incredibly famous and popular. 27,000 yen, March release next year. And I would totally display this thing with the helmet on because we don't get bunny girls in science fiction theme that often. And if you look closely, I won't scroll through the pictures for obvious reasons, but if you scroll through and check out the closer up pictures of her, Her oppa is barely covered, like you can see the pink dot, it is almost there, which means this is most likely customable, even though she is not labeled as one officially by freeing. Maybe you can force the breastplate off, or you can indeed remove it, but they are just not advertising it. So if you do get the cast off feature, assume that you're lucky, you'll get a bonus hidden feature. But if you don't get it, don't be too disappointed. And don't damage the figure trying to force it off, it is not worth it. Yeah. So I'm leaning towards this being customable. Only the top, of course. Moving on to the next one over here. From Mistress, Kanan is devilishly easy with Kanan Kakakiyo at 1/6 skill by Fat Company. 25,300 yen, September release next year. How many 1/6 skills has Fat Company made over the years? Can't be many. I did not know this is 1/6. When she was revealed in One Fest, I have always assumed she was a 1/7. So, this character over here, once again, I have no clue who she is. But Good Smile and Fat Company has been promoting her non-stop since she was being revealed since late last year or so. Yeah, I've covered this figure like 3 times by now, including 2 different Wonder Festivals. So she has to be pretty popular, at least in Japan, I suppose. Yeah. This is straight out of Texas, the US. Yeah, you and your cowboy outfits. This is textbook cowboy outfit. But anyways, if I have a question, is that how easy is it to move in this outfit, especially with that black color belt between her thighs over there? That can't be easy to move in, but one shall never question anime logic. Great looking character though. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Okay, DMM Factory has a new edition in their Maid Mason Hanikami Kanojo series. This is Sano Hiragi at 1/6 skill, 30,000 yen. Very expensive. Overpriced even. Yes. June release next year. And pretty much every figure from Maid Mason so far by DMM Factory, they all cost 30k each. So imagine collecting the whole set. Yeah. And for characters from this series, which I believe it is also an eroge game, right? Yeah. They really have to get the face right. The face is everything for this series. Yeah. It is like the trademark of the artist behind these characters. If they can replicate it faithfully, then maybe go for it. Well, DMM Factory has always been very expensive. Even their Oshinoko figures, 25,000 yen each at 1/6 skill. And then Good Smile would make 1/6 skill Oshinoko figures at around 19,000 yen. So yeah, what the heck. Their figures are pretty pricey from this brand. Moving on to the next one, 1/6 skill Patra Suo, which I assume is a VTuber. Gaming outfit version by Fuvio, 22,500 yen, releasing in June next year. That is a great price for 1/6 skill, even though, yeah, the detail is on the low side, just plain black dress. And I have no idea what happened to Furyu and Phoenix 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They were asking for 40,000 yen for a single skill figure, but they stopped doing that. And nowadays, their figures hover in the 20 plus price range, 20,000 yen plus, yeah. So I'm not sure how they managed to do that. Maybe they found a new supplier, a new manufacturer, or they found new ways to manufacture figures while keeping the cost down. I'm not sure. But I'm happy to see the prices went down, at least for this brand. Well, the quality from Furyu and Phoenix is not exactly top tier. They are like B tier, in the middle of the pack. Not exactly that great, but for the kinds of prices they're asking, yeah. I find it hard to criticize them. That's the first thing. The second thing is that a lot of Furyu scale figures bargain bin after release, so that's one thing to watch out for. She could go even cheaper, who knows. Moving on to the next one here, now we take a look at a few ecchi figures. This week, the first one is from this long title over here, which I'm too lazy to read. I think it is from a H anime which I watched 2 episodes and it was great. So this is Maid Chitose Ito-san by Pure, just under 20,000 yen at 1/6 skill, and she is customable, both top and bottom. You can expose her oppai and her secret garden down there, yes. Now, the problem with this figure is that I believe there is at least 2 other different figures of this character. If my memory serves me correctly. One is by Amakuni and another one is by an ecchi figure brand, which I can't remember which one. And both of those looked better than this one. In a way which I find it hard to describe, like more detailed, or maybe the face looks a bit better. Yeah, so this one, it just looks a bit inferior compared to what I remember from other brands, but at the same time, only 20,000 yen. Those two other versions out there, they are not cheap. And who knows if the value may have gone up by now. So this is still not a bad pre-order in the sense that Pure as a figure brand, they make great figures. I have no complaints about this brand, just that when I get to compare with other options by other brands, then you'll see the differences over there. Yeah, so I guess you get what you pay for. Yeah. Moving on to the next one here. This is my favorite ecchi figure this week. But in terms of my favorite figure this week, I think this is ranking number 4. Yeah. Anyways, this figure feels so attractive to me because of her gaze. You know, the way she's looking at you, even though her mouth is covered up, and then she's like, I'm not sure how to describe it, but like that, staring at you, and then that gaze, that eye over there, it is so attractive in some way, regardless of whether her mask is on or off. And she appears to be on a train, on the subway. Very relatable. The premise over here reminds me of the stuff I see in H anime once again. So all of these, Yuria Okubo Deluxe Edition by Vibrastar, 27,000 yen. Hell yeah, I want it. I really want it. Even though I'm normally not a big fan of giant milk jugs, I still want it. And this is what you should go for, the deluxe version. The standard version is a lot cheaper at 21k. The difference is that the DX version comes with a lot of extra face parts, like 3 face parts instead of 2, and then you get an extra pair of legs, right? So the deluxe version, you get to display her with bare legs or legs with stockings, covered in stockings if I remembered correctly. I've seen the pictures earlier. And then with the standard version over here, you only get these bare legs. Yeah, the skirt is removable, but you don't get a second pair of legs with stockings. And you get one less faceplate. The deluxe one, there is this third faceplate where she's holding her finger in front like that. So you're getting a lot of bonus stuff. Go for the DX one. Obviously, I couldn't pre-order this or purchase this from any Japanese website because my customs won't let it through, but I need to find a different source to get my hands on this figure. It is possible to import it. It is possible, just that I need to go through a more unconventional route in a way. A simple JK, but I like it so much for reasons I'm not even sure why. Maybe because it is relatable. Moving on to the next one, more ecchi figures. We have Dancing Princess Yura by Hokiboshi Special Version Limited Edition with bonus. Wow, long title. This is by Pink Mango, another great ecchi figure brand, no complaints. May release next year, 26,500 yen. And this is really excessive. So there are 4 versions of this figure for some reason. I find it excessive, but at the same time, I have to give Pink Mango a big thumbs up for giving us the collector's choices, like how much we are willing to pay for how many parts in the box. Not a bad thing, just that a bit excessive in my opinion. So this is the most expensive version at 26,500 yen. What you get is this figure with an extra faceplate and a cast-offable body and entire torso for you to cast off the figure. So 1.5 figures and also a wall scroll. And then you go down by 2,000 yen. At 24,500 yen, you get the figure with the extra faceplate and also the cast-off parts. This is cast-offable, but no wall scroll. So it is exactly the same as the version earlier before. The only thing you are missing out is the wall scroll. 24,500 yen. This is the version that I would go for if I were to pre-order this, right? I don't need the wall scroll, but I want everything else. And then you can go down another 2,000 yen. So this one, 22,500 yen. This is not cast-offable. All you get is the figure you see on screen, plus an additional faceplate. Yeah, the one with the tongue sticking out, the Ahegao faceplate. So that is all you get. And then you get to go down again to the base model, 20,500 yen. All you get is the picture on screen, this figure, and no extra faceplate, no Hadaka cast off body, nothing. So 4 versions. In my opinion, 3 versions is just right. The most expensive one with the wall scroll, the Hadaka version without the wall scroll, and the one earlier with the extra faceplate. So this one, the base model without the extra faceplate, I'm not sure if this version needs to exist, but I still appreciate Pink Mango for giving us choices, even though it may seem a bit too much. Yeah, character design wise, very nice. I love my kimono girls. I love my animal girls. They are cute. They are hot. And then the outfit design on this is quite attractive as well. And we get another kimono girl right here by Otaku Toys, Chinese figure brand. 1x6 scale Fox Spirit Sister bonus edition with wall scroll. 22,500 yen. The standard version figure only 21,500 yen. So Otaku Toys is a brand I don't have much experience yet, but I'm planning to buy their figure once she comes out next year. And I'm referring to their Raphael from Nikke. Yeah, the one in purple armor, over 30,000 yen. That thing is expensive. In fact, it is Otaku Toys' most expensive figure at the moment, and I want it. So when I do get my hands on that, then we get to see what the quality of this brand is like. So purchasing something that cost over 30,000 yen for a brand that I don't know anything about is kind of risky, but I'm going for it anyway because by today in year 2025, I feel I trust Chinese brands more than Japanese brands when it comes to QC. Yeah. So back to this figure over here, Fox Spirit Sister. By all means, go for it if you like her. I think the gradient paint work on her hair and on her dress, the different shades of grey color is beautiful. Yeah. And the outfit is also pretty unique. Moving on to the next one, another original character, Yuki Shinomiya Silent Gale Succubus, illustrated by Sion, by Hobby Chat-On, a new Chinese brand. 1x6 scale, 15K, April release next year. So Hobby Chat-On is a brand I just covered a week or 2 ago. It is literally a new brand. They are putting their first figures on pre-order. They don't have anything out yet. And in fact, their first appearance in public was back in February earlier this year in One Fest Winter. So they are so new that there's nothing at this point. Nothing. And I feel bad for Hobby Chat-On because this is by no means a bad looking figure. In fact, it is pretty detailed for 15K figure at 1/6 scale. The problem is that she is being overshadowed by so many other figures out there on pre-order this week. So it is like the timing of them getting this figure out on pre-order is kinda bad timing. Yeah, we have amazing ecchi figures earlier. And then we have more to come, Nikke Azur Lane stuff that look amazing. So this one is being overshadowed, sadly. And the colors of this character is not helping. That dark blue, the dull grey color, not very attractive. Yeah. Value wise, it is good value though. 1x6 scale, 15K, detailed scale figure. Moving on to the next one. This is the Dark Horse of the week. This thing came out of nowhere. I happened to like it so much that this is my third favorite figure this week. Yes, my third favorite. So you'll find out the second and first place soon. And this is Gilnada Deluxe Edition 1x6 scale by Kawa Design, Chinese brand, which makes lower budget scale figures, but they are starting to make more expensive stuff as well. They have a 20,000 yen Azur Lane figure on pre-order. Yeah. So Kawa Design is a brand that eventually I will buy their stuff as well. This is a must-have in my opinion, even though I don't feel like pre-ordering her too early. Now, this figure, you are getting that torture chamber tool set of some kind. When you play MMORPG games or you watch some anime, dark fantasy theme, they lock up the prisoners and then they have all this kind of torture stuff on display, ready for use. Yeah, something like that. So this is the kind of accessory that you don't see often with fixed post-scale figures. Figmas or action figures, yeah, maybe yes, but not scale figures. So I want the DX version over here because of how great the figure looks, and then the accessories are just the icing on the cake. The standard version is 10,500 yen, and you know what, the paint work on this figure already caught my attention. The dark brown skin with all the shading, different shades of brown. Yeah, She is muscular but still hot, and the paintwork is incredibly detailed. I want this so badly. My third favorite figure this week. Meanwhile, the JK on the subway earlier, that is 4th place, right? This is 3rd place. Alright, moving on to the next one. My favorite figure this week in 1st place. Goddess of Victory Nikke Doro Nostalgia by Good Smile Company. 24,300 yen, September release next year. And man, I have already pre-ordered the one by Hobby Sakura. Now I need to get this as well. It is so painful. The funny thing is that there was a third party that made the same exact figure. I think it went on pre-order way back last year, but that was bigger. 1.6 and 1.4, I think you get to choose between two scales. But 1/7 is still not bad because this is PVC figure. No, not as fragile. And yeah, go for it. I think this is a figure that every Nikke fan needs to have. I'm still on the fence whether to pre-order. Maybe I really should. I'm being very careful with my pre-orders. There really is not much else to say other than telling you to pre-order as long as you love Nikke character designs. Not to mention, this is Doro we are talking about. Moving up to the next one, we have Azur Lane Belfast Blissful Service version by Good Smile as well. Just over 17,000 yen. And you get an Azur Lane figure with almost completely exposed opai. Releasing in November next year. So this is great value purchase, though I'm not sure how to review this thing on YouTube if I ever purchase it. Yeah, the moderators won't like it. And Belfast is unsure whether you prefer beer. Is that beer or wine? Anyways, Belfast is unsure if you prefer alcohol or her milk, going by her post over here. Do you want this or do you want this? This is one of Good Smile's most daring figures yet. As we all know, Good Smile does not make 18 plus figures nowadays. But this is very close to that. Very close. Okay, moving on to the next one. You are looking at my second favorite figure this week after Dorothy. Yes. So, I don't pre-order Azur Lane figures that much. I don't even purchase that many. But this one, I want it really badly. I think she looks amazing. Azur Lane Cheshire, the cat in the magic hat version by Good Smile Company. 25,000 yen at 1/7 scale. August, release next year. There was a third party that made the same figure, I think. Yeah, but man, I would take this over the one by Alter. You know, Alter has a figure of her in the maid outfit, which is quite nice as well. But I would take this. I'm not sure why, but I think it is because this version looks so elegant. And it even reminds me of this particular movie called Now You See Me, you know? Yeah, I mean, character design wise, the outfit, right? The skin, as we call it in game terminology. This character skin over here appeals to me a lot more. So, I won't be pre-ordering early because a lot of Azur Lane stuff, they don't really go up in value unless you're talking about Alter and those huge Azur Lane figures with ship parts. Other than that, everything else, I don't see their value going up after release. So I do not want to go too deep into depth, pre-ordering stuff too early. Yes, but this is one that I will keep an eye on because I like this so much. Nice job, Good Smile. Nice job. Moving up to the next one, another Azur Lane figure but by Wave Corporation. Atago Schools... wanted to say school swimsuit. School... Man, my throat is dry. School Traumere version. September release at almost 21,000 yen. See, Wave Corporation, they keep making simple figures like this for some reason. They refuse to make stuff that are more sophisticated, more detailed for reasons I'm not too sure. Maybe they have their hands full making plastic model kits. That is what they are known for actually. Military model kits, battleships and so on. But they have been around for a long time. They are almost as old as Good Smile itself. So they are really good at making figures. Yeah. Just that I never ranked them that high compared to other brands simply because they don't make stuff that are very sophisticated. But quality control wise, this is one of very few brands that almost never have any scandals involving quality issues. So this is a brand that is remarkably consistent over the past decade even. Moving on to the next one here. Okay, we have Arknights Pepe, not the green frog. By Good Smile Company, 24,300 yen, November release next year. So if we look at things from a technical standpoint, how detailed a figure is, how complex it is, this would be top 3 best figure this week, right? But it is not my top 3 favorite this week simply because, not my favorite character. Yeah, subjective reasons. So putting that aside, the outfit on this thing is insane. The detail. I mean, if you put one on my desk to say, please review this, please photograph it, hell yes, I would. Even though I'm refusing to collect Arknight stuff because there are too many things to buy. But I would love to review this thing at the bare minimum because she looks incredible. Yeah. And 24k is actually a good price considering what you're getting. Unique base, detailed figure, and not much else to say. Yeah. This is the top 3 best figure of the week for sure. Moving on to the next one. We have Xander's Zone 0 Alexandrina Sebastian. As Kazuma made it a point in Konosuba, if you see a butler or maid, it has to be a Sebastian. So, she's from Xander's Zone 0 and she's going for 23,600 yen at 1/6 scale by Apex Toys, October release next year. Same base as every other Triple Z figures made so far. Okay, so my favorite figure, or favorite character rather, from Xander's has to be Alan Joe, I think. And that is purely from a design standpoint. I like the character design the most when it comes to Alan Joe. Anyways, I'm not sure yet if I want to touch any figures from this game. Yeah, once again, too many things to buy. But for those of you who are interested, Apex Toys is very easy to recommend. One of the best Chinese brands out there, just that they're making way too many figures, announcing way too many stuff that I'm a bit concerned. Yeah, one day they're going to have quality control lapses if they're not being careful over here. Moving on to the next one, another Apex Toys figure from Chinese Paladin, Sword and Fairy. We have Zhaoling Thunder Fairy version, just under 20,000 yen, August release next year. Now this title, Chinese Paladin, and this character Zhaoling so many third parties have made a figure of her in various different interpretations, including realistic face versions. So it has to be a pretty popular title in China, even though I have no clue what it is. 20k is once again a great price considering the whole package, the base and so on, effect base over there. 20k, Japanese brands, they give you a plain round disc base and you should be grateful apparently. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this figure I've covered last week because she went on pre-order earlier on AmiAmi. Girls Frontline Neural Cloud Undine. Okay, by Animaster, 8,200 yen only and coming out in March next year. I won't be pre-ordering her, but I will purchase one after release because I have Animaster's Florence or PA15 on my shelf right there. I love it so much. It is only 7,000 yen, but it looks like something that costs 20k. Yeah, so I have high hopes for this one turning out great, even though I don't really collect Neural Cloud or GFL stuff, but at the price this low, yeah, I will purchase it because why not? Okay, moving on to the next one. This is a very unique figure from a new Chinese brand called Dayu. So we have Nina Iseri at 1/7 scale from Girls Band Cry for only 10,000 yen. They had to pay Toei Animation licensing fees, and it is still only 10,000 yen. Try to think about that for a second. And coming out in January next year. So, back to this figure. This is a very unique scale figure. I've never seen anything quite like this. This is a bit like action figure, but it is fixed pose because you're getting so many extra parts, right? And they are following what Apex Toys is doing with the Arc-Tech action figures. They are 1/8 scale action figures. So, with this figure, first things first, the detail level, craftsmanship. It is a very simple figure, low detail. From this picture alone, I estimate this to be roughly the same level of detail as a pop-up weight L maybe. Yeah, so in that sense, this is roughly the same price as a pop-up weight L, which is roughly 8 or 9,000 yen. But what you're getting extra over here is various different arm parts, which I'm not sure if it is a bit excessive over here. So you pay attention to her left arm over here. Yep, there are 6 different ways for you to display this figure. I mean, 2 or 3 different ways is already a lot, but 6 different ways, it is a bit excessive, but it is still a good thing, right? It is still a good thing. If you feel bored, you can change things up. So all of those extra parts, where do you keep them? No, not in the figures box. You can keep them in the base. So these are the kind of things that I wish that Japanese brands would give more thoughts into. Like, give us something special, something different. But when they do things like this, they're going to charge us a lot, I suppose. And you also get these cards in the box. Yeah, so 10k, great value. In case Kotobukiya's Girls Band Cry scale figures are a bit too much for you, they're over 20k each, then you can take a look at this one and you can count on Dayo to make more figures, because they mentioned specifically number 1 Nina Iseri. So Chinese brands, including the third parties, they like to number their figures. Number 1, number 2, and so on. It may seem a bit weird, but that is their way of telling us that more figures are coming under this product line or under this series. So when they call this figure number 1, they are indirectly implying that other characters are coming under this 10,000 yen figure series over here. So yeah, this is a budget option for those of you who want figures from Girls Band Cry. Moving up next, we have Ranma Half Ranma by Kotobukiya, 18k, releasing in February. Non-scale, but the dimensions is roughly 24 cm. That would be roughly 1/7. So this is the original LGBT anime before LGBT even became something popular in the recent years. This girl over here, she can switch genders given very specific conditions. So there is a male counterpart of her or him, Ranma Saotome, 21k, March release. Yeah. So it is the same person, they keep switching back and forth. I think it was from sneezing. Each time she sneezes, she changes gender. If I remembered correctly, because I watched the original anime when I was in like primary school. It was like 20 years ago, so I don't remember much anymore. But anyways, it is nice to see that Ranma is getting a bit more attention from figure brands nowadays. We had pop-up parades as usual, and Tanitolls, and then the third parties were making figures of Ranma. Now we have Kotobukiya jumping in with proper scale figures, which is probably the way to go if you want a balance between quality and price. You don't want pop-up parade crap, but at the same time, you don't want to pay $300 for a premium 1/6 scale resin statue. Then Kotobukiya offers the best balance between price and quality. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Okay, Dark Angel Olivia from Rage of Bahamut is getting a re-release by Kotobukiya. 1/8 scale, 18,000 yen, April release. Okay, so in case you are interested in this figure, because maybe you like the character design, there are 2 things you need to know from a former owner of this figure, me, myself. Number 1, having collected figures for 15 years by now, having purchased hundreds of different figures, this Dark Angel Olivia remains a top 5 in the largest figure boxes I've ever owned for a genuine figure, not counting third-party resins. Her box is massive, right? I'm estimating around 55 to 60 centimeters cubic in all 3 directions, length, height, and depth, up to 60 cm, and that is the figure box only, not including the external carton box. So do be careful, because the shipping cost for this thing is insane. Yes. So why is it so big when the figure is 1/8 scale? And this is where things are a bit misleading, right? Despite being a 1/8 scale on paper, this figure is roughly the size of an average 1/6 scale figure. Maybe because this is not human, this is a demon or some other creature that is not a human. So she is taller than an average human being. And that translates into a bigger figure despite being 1/8 scale. So this is a big figure, do not be fooled. Number 2, I'm not sure if Kotobukiya has fixed a major flaw in this figure, because this is not the first time this figure is being re-released. This has to be the second or the third time she's getting a re-release. Despite the size and weight of this figure, she is very back heavy. She is standing on one single leg, one single foot plugged into the base, and there is no metal foot peg whatsoever. Zero. There is one single big plastic block at the foot where they permanently glue the figure to the base. Yes, you heard that right. Kotobukiya thinks it is a good idea to include only a plastic foot peg in this big and heavy figure and to permanently glue it into the base so that you don't know that there is no metal foot peg underneath. If you look underneath the base, you can see a couple of metal screws, but they are not connected to the figure at all. There is no metal foot peg in there. So I'm not sure if they have fixed this problem, this figure since then, because I purchased the very first release back in like year 2015 or so. It was 10 years ago. So after 2 or 3 releases, I'm not sure if they have improved the figure. I'm not sure if they have added metal foot pegs by today. But back then, there were no such thing. And one day, when this figure was on display on my shelf, she broke off on her own. She just fell over for no reason. And that was how I found out that the figure does not have any metal foot peg whatsoever. And Kotobukiya was just relying on glue, which failed over time, obviously, because the figure is so heavy. So, should you decide to pre-order this figure anyway because you like it so much, my recommendation would be to display this figure with her back, her wings, leaning against your cabinet, the wall of your cabinet. Yeah, lean it against something. Do not let her stand on her own without any additional support. That is the best advice I can give about this figure. Yeah. I sold off the figure cheaply because I was so pissed at the figure. So moving on to the next one over here. The last 4 figures are lower budget figures. The first one is 1/8 scale Shin no Tenpi Bunny version deluxe edition by Hobby Sakura, 9,500 yen with that bonus item over there. She's cute, I like her. And the standard version is only 7,500 yen. This has to be Hobby Sakura's very first low budget scale figure, I think. Even their original character figures back then, they were like 20k, 18k, yeah. So it is nice to see them diversifying their stuff, and they make great figures in general, so you should check her out if you like her. Moving on to the next one, we have Alia Mikhailovna Kujo from this anime over here, which will be getting a season 2. I'm happy about it. Okay, so this is made by Cyber Agent or E-Stream, same company, under their Canterbury series, which is their low budget line of anime figures. They are roughly 1/8 scale and 6,000 yen each, March release next year. Unfortunately for this figure, I don't think her face looks great. I think Furyo Tenitol did a way better job with her face, yeah. So check out the Tenitol version. Even though they are not wearing their school uniform, they're wearing a cow bikini outfit, but those look better in the face department, yeah. This one is not that great. I mean, it still resembles Alia, but something is a bit off. It still resembles Alia, but something is a bit off about her face, yeah. And the last figure on pre-order this week on HLJ is something that I will tell you to go out and get it, especially if you love Black Lagoon. This thing is amazing. So we have Ravi L size from Black Lagoon, 9,000 yen by Good Smile, February release next year. This is a very detailed figure for 9,000 yen under the Pop-Up Red L series, which is my favorite Pop-Up Red line, right? The standard version is way too small, and because of their small size, paint quality problems appear a lot because the parts are way too small to paint precisely. And then the big ones, the XL, are just overpriced trash. Yeah, overpriced garbage. The XL, don't even bother. So the Pop-Up Red L so far has the best balance between size and price. And Ravi, yeah, go for it. Your only other option are expensive scale figures by this brand. What was the name again? They hold the license to the Black Lagoon franchise. I can't remember the name. Anyways, if you have not watched the anime yet, give it a go. It is great, right? I watched it in college like 10 years ago, long ago. And this is an old anime by now. Like late 2000s or early 2010s. I'm not exactly sure which year, but pretty old by now. Okay, so that is all for the Hobby Link Japan section. Now we shall move on to AmiAmi to check out a few exclusives and also figures that at the time of recording this video has not been listed on HLJ yet. So if you are finding this figure enjoyable or informative so far, please to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. It is just one click away, one tap away on your screen, and that is how you help this channel grow. Right, so the first AmiAmi exclusive this week, coming from Alter, we have Arknights Schwarz, Gala Knight version, 1/7 scale, just under 22k, and also W, same price, same release month, and they are meant to be a set, obviously, right? So let me bring up this picture over here. As you can see, they are meant to be displayed together, so you need both. Why would you get only one? Yeah, you need both. And the paintwork on their hair, on the stocking, you know, the heavy gradients over there. Oh, I love it. Pricing wise is pretty good. 22,000 yen is pretty good price over here. And Alter, they may not be perfect. Sometimes they have QC issues, including the recent mold issue, which involves the Shenhua factory actually. Good Smile is also involved. I mean, yeah, they are not perfect, but when they do get their figures right, they are the best figure brand out there. So this is worth getting. If you want to wait until after release, you're hoping for bargain bin, I won't blame you because Arknight stuff, they tend to bin quite a bit as well, so do bear in mind. AmiAmi exclusive really means nothing. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Oh, I want this figure so badly. Let's put her 5th place amongst my favorite figure this week. We had number 1 to number 4 earlier. This is 5th place. I want it so badly just because the West will hate it. The internet SJWs will hate it. The more people hate it, the more I want it. So, coming from Orchid Seed or Tuberosa Plus, the same company, we have 1/4.5 Hachiroku from Maitetsu Last Run. This is a pretty famous eroge game character, in fact, at least in Japan. And there has been so many figures of her already. Kyoskyu has one. Alter has made a figure of her as well. 2 figures in one single box. There are a few other options out there. But Orchid Seed, no, it is an ecchi figure brand, which means their version will be customable, which is why I want these over the ones made by other brands. It will be a bit difficult to import this from Japan, but I have my own ways to get it if I want to. So we'll see. Unfortunately, even if I do purchase one of these, I won't be able to, to review it on YouTube. I'm going to keep it for my personal enjoyment and maybe to post a few pictures on Twitter to trigger some people. Yeah, 30,000 yen is very expensive. But, okay, let me take back what I just said. I said very expensive because my brain was in automatic mode, assuming it is 1/6, but no, 1/4.5. Okay, 30k is fine. I want it. Yes. So, moving on to the next one here. This is a Kadokawa figure, and weirdly enough, some Kadokawa KD Call figures, they don't show up in a number of other websites. So indirectly, they are kind of exclusive, just that they are not officially exclusive at the same time. So we have Takamine Eternal Virgin God version. The anime was hilarious. Yeah, it is actually anime. You should give it a try. And this is going for 25,700 yen after a discount, which is very expensive despite them giving us an extra body to show her partially undressed. They know that all the dry gooners will still purchase it, will still pay for it anyway, which is why the price is so high. But this figure is nowhere worth 25k, 26k, even with that extra torso over there. Kadokawa is just being opportunistic at this point. So she is coming out in March 2026, and no, this is a skip for me. Moving on to the next one over here. This is not an exclusive, just that, yeah, HLJ has not listed her on pre-order yet. The Hungry Lamb traveling in the late Ming Dynasty, Man Sui Hong. Zhang Sui Sui. Okay, must be some kind of Chinese folklore, I think. 1/6 scale by Bear Panda, 10,340 yen. Okay, down from 11K and releasing in June 2026. I mean, it looks nice, but way too Chinese for me. This would be a great decoration for Chinese New Year, but so much red. Bear Panda has figures that I like and the ones I don't like as well. This one not so much. But value-wise, can't argue with Bear Panda. They're among the best low-budget scale figure brands nowadays. And the last figure over here on AmiAmi is from their major content section. And at the time of recording this video, they have only offered this figure as a set of 3. They have not listed them separately available for pre-order yet. Maybe they will at some point. So a set of 3 over here: Succubus Homestay, Sukuma Shiori, Sakuma Shizune, and Sakuma Shizuku 1x5 scale for 89k. So about 28k each. Yeah. Actually not a bad price considering their 1x5 scale. Just that 3 together, you see the price of 89k, yeah, that is quite hard to swallow. So they are going for 89k and releasing in September next year. Hot Venus makes great figures, but this one, it is just generic succubus figure, isn't it? Yeah. It all boils down to whether you like the original artwork or the artist behind these 3 characters. Yeah, nothing much else to say. And that is all for the AmiAmi section. Now we stop by Ninja Game for Be-Full Insight figures. So the first one here is by Forge Japan, which means not castable. This is all you get. Space Secret Agent Lubelina, 1x6 scale, 22k, releasing in March next year. Secret Agent, is she supposed to be some kind of spy for MI6 or for FBI, female body investigator? But that pink color suit is attracting too much attention. Yeah, so not a good agent over here. Moving on to the next one. This is by Insight. So it is 18 plus. It is Hadaka. Secret Education with a Busty Lady. 1x6 scale M-Leg spread version by Insight. 22k. Releasing in March as well. And the last one here by Insight. Wow. Locked up in the locker. Asahina-san. Revival version, which means a re-release, right? Not too surprised. This kind of thing, can see people buying it. 22k as well at 1x6 scale, releasing in March next year. And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Now we shall move on to third-party resin figures. Making use of OzGK, which is this channel's partner for third-party resin figures. For this week, there are not many third parties actually, so this should be pretty quick. We don't have any Anyas this week as well. So for the first section, the GB figures section, we have one single item over here by Manta Studio, Code Geass, a cute version of King and Queen. CC and what is the dude's name again? What is the dude's name? Can't remember. God. Anyways, Lelouch. Okay, so you can get a set for $188, which means each will be around $95 or so. $107 each, but if you get as a set, $188. Okay, so let's have a closer look. Okay, they actually look pretty nice for sure. Like, we don't get stuff like this from genuine figure brands, and these two are quite nicely done. Very detailed. Look at that on the outfit. Man, wow. So this could be worth getting for fans of Code Geass. Okay, moving on to the next section, we take a look at original characters. So these original characters over here are just 1x1 scale dolls. You know what kind of doll is that? So I won't waste too much time on it. I'll just go through them very quickly. They are all by the same brand called Juliang Studio, Azur Lane, Cheshire, 1x1 scale. Yeah. For those of you lonely single men out there, this is up to $3,500. It is absurd. And then the next one here, Blue Dream Butterfly Oleander makeup. Yeah, 1x1 scale, $2,000. And then the next one here, more of it from the same brand, Wind Bell number 3 makeup cat girl. This is cute for sure. This is a lot cheaper, just under $1,300. And then the next one here, 1x1 scale again, Black Magic Summoner Shui Lian, up to $3,500 including options. Yeah, depending on what you get. And then another one here, Juliang Studio Specialist by G Makeup. $3,500 as well. More of it. 1x1 skill. This really looks like Freeran for some reason. Freeran in the bunny suit. Yeah. So $3,500. Another 1x1 skill. Like, they are trying really hard to sell these dolls by dressing them up 69 different ways and passing them off as a new figure or as a new statue. So here another one, mandala. Huawu Lady mandala. $2,900. And finally, we move on to the actual figures. I'm just going through the new stuff this week, right? It is like an obligation of mine. I don't want to miss out on anything. So now, actual figures over here. The first one, this is licensed. Lightyear Studio JX on 9.3. 1x4 skill 5 poisons adult female statue. $710, no release date yet. Oh, this is nice. The detail, man. Oh, wow. The kind of detail you get with resin statues. Yeah. I mean, look at her gauntlet, man. Jeez, looks amazing. $710 for this whole thing is actually a great price. Yeah. Wow, so many pictures, and these are great pictures. Seriously, yeah, they have a good photographer. Okay, moving on to the next one, another 1x4 skill licensed, Diao Chan by Jomata Studio. Did I cover this last week? Last week there was no price. Now we have a price. 1x4 skill $424. Two different color versions, and alright. Okay, $424 is not bad. It is a simpler figure than the one earlier, and I will stop scrolling over here because her chest is almost exposed. And even though it is not Hadaka, YouTube does not like it. So $424 for this thing. Up next, we have my favorite 1x4 skill over here from a third party by PA Create Studio. Ninja Gaiden, or is it Ninja Gaide? PA Ninja Ryu Momiji. No price yet. The deposit is $176 and no release date yet. This thing is incredible. Wow, that is a beautiful ninja. I thought ninjas are supposed to be fully dressed in black. Oh, look at the details, man. Woo! This is incredible. I wish that I can zoom in more. Oh no, the pictures are low res. I couldn't zoom in more. Look at that. Wow. This is going to cost a minimum of $500, I think. Moving up next, we have Guanhan Studio Moon Goddess Luna 1x6 scale for $838. Actually, right, the price is not that bad considering there are 3 figures within this globe, this round thing over here. I couldn't zoom in because some of them, the one on the side is almost Hadaka. Yeah, I would love to give you guys a closer look on the pictures, but I doubt many of you are interested in this figure, isn't it? You want to see Genshin or Azur Lane or Honkai or even Nikke stuff. Yeah. Up next, now we move into anime character territory. The first one is Nami, Nika form from One Piece FIT Studio or Fit Studio. And the price, why is this in Hong Kong dollar? This should be under 200 US, I think. 186, there you go. So no release date yet and white hair. You know, I don't watch One Piece, so let me guess, when a character gets a full power up, their hair change color. So this is what I'm looking at, isn't it? However, the paint work on her jeans, right, all the gradient work looks amazing though. The detailing work on her jeans, I like that a lot, yeah. Just that the overall color of the figure is kind of dull. So I would take a Nami figure. I would take this figure in her normal hair color, yeah. Moving on to the next one, we have Pink Butterfly Studio 1x4 skill Android 18 from Dragon Ball, $249 only, because it is a simple figure, even at 1.4, releasing this December. Yep, realistic face, but a really good one. So with realistic face conversions, I've noticed that some characters, the third parties, are really good at it. Android 18 is one of those, and I wouldn't mind displaying a realistic version on my shelf. This is very nice, yeah. I've seen better ones out there, like the makeup is more detailed, more refinement, but $249, yeah, this is fine. So this could be a good pre-order for those of you who love Dragon Ball. Moving up next, we have MM Land Studio Detective Conan Handcuffed Shiho Miyano, $148 releasing, okay, no release date yet. So this has to be based on something we see in the anime or manga, right? There has to be a context behind this specific scene over here. Otherwise, the figure brand would not have thought of an idea to make a figure of her being carved up like that to a wall for no reason. Yeah, it has to be a reference from the manga or anime. Yeah, so I know nothing. Right, Detective Conan, you are not getting anything from genuine brands anytime soon. So this is for people who want to collect stuff from this series. Next one here from Mimo Studio and Exorcism Studio. They have Kikyo from Inuyasha. Okay, Mimo Studio is doing an incredible work with stuff from Inuyasha. You should check them out. $195 for this one. There are two versions and releasing in June next year. Woo. It is not like the figure is very unusual in any way, but I would say that this is like a complete package, right? Of course I would get her with this crossbow, man. Complete package. Detailed figure with the crossbow and a detailed base for under $200. Yeah. This is a great figure. Moving up next, we have CDK Studio Annie Leonhardt from Attack of Titans. $186 at 1/6 scale. December release. Come on, this is a very nice photograph. Yes, very dramatic. Beautiful lighting, but I want to see the face. Okay. Okay, it is good. It is pretty good. And the leather texture on her outfit, as you can see over here, third parties, they are really good with AOT stuff. Seriously. There are not many bad AOT figures out there from third parties. This one is badass, man, this photograph. Beautiful photo. So this could be potentially a good purchase. Yep, coming out in December though. So many figures coming out in December. Moving up next, we have Free Run over here by Summer Studio. $130 only. Is this like a chibi version? Kind of. Come on, I want a picture of the actual figure. What is this thing? They photoshopped the photograph way too much. Oh, nice shiny gold paint. Okay. This looks terrible. This looks terrible. I mean, $130, sure, it is very cheap for a resin figure. But guess what? I would rather you spend maybe $170, $180 on a scale by Good Smile or Kotobukiya. Why did they even try if this is the best they can do? This looks like that kind of Warhammer figure, the tiny ones which are low detail because of their size. This reminds me of those tiny Warhammer figures. And this is not looking good for $130. I wouldn't bother. Moving on to the next one, we have Tensei Studio. Okay, Cat Ear Aries. So there are two versions over here. Hand-tied version. Hand-tied, not Hentai. And then there is a Twin Tails version which I couldn't put on screen because it is indeed Hentai. Yeah, casted off. So if you get both, $344, but the standard one is $188. The face is good. The face looks great over here. Yeah, her usual tsundere face, but man, I hate her character so much in the anime. Spoiled rich brat, you know? Yeah, I hate her attitude. Moving on to the next one, we have 02 from Darling in the France by Yami Studio, $181, December release. You know, at one point a few years ago, there was this fetish going on about how hot the girls look in the Monogatari series when they are brushing their teeth, and then the dude will be helping them brush their teeth. So now we are carrying that over to 02. I'm not sure how rare 02 scale figures are because I know that the Max Factory version, the one with no clothes on except a jacket, or even the Aniplex version, right? The one in uniform, she's standing on this object. There they seem to be pretty expensive in the aftermarket, but over here in my country, in Malaysia, if you look around some local figure stores, they might have them in stock. So I wanted to say get the genuine figures because they are better, at least compared to this one. But at the same time, how easy it is to find them at a normal price, yeah. It could differ from country to country, and it really depends on where you shop for anime figures, I suppose. But in my case over here, it is not too difficult to find a Zero figure. Or hell, you can just get the Kotobukiya one, which is very cheap. Yeah, the one in the plug suit. That one got a re-release. Moving on to the next one. This is not very nice. From Manta Studio. Jabami Yumeko from Kakegurui. So, no price yet. $59 deposit. And there are two versions over here. The second version I'm not putting on screen because she's wearing just black bikini, black lingerie. I have so much work doing the censorship and so on. So the standard version over here, what do you think about this? I mean, the face looks good, but this is a bit out of character, don't you think? I think Kotobukiya did it best with Jabami Yumeko with her yandere face. Kotobukiya and even, was it one of the Chinese brands, was it Mietos? I think it was Mietos, right? Either Mietos or Apex. They had a figure of these Kakegurui characters lying on the casino board or whatever that is called. Those were great. Yeah, but Kotobukiya got it so right with the yandere face. This one is a bit out of character, but it does resemble Yumeko. No problems over there. Manta Studio in general, their figures are fine. And they have been doing amazing work with Code Geass stuff. This is another example. This is not their first CC figure from Code Geass. They have others out already. So this one is looking great as well. This is amazing. This is comparable to anything made by Mega House or genuine figure brands for the matter. Black and white. I'll take the black one. Yeah, the black one looks so much nicer. The color contrast over there. In fact, when people say Manta Studio, the first thing I can think of is CC from Code Geass. This is great. This is beautiful. Man. No price yet, but I would imagine that this shouldn't be more than $200. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. The most cultured anime figure this week. We have Mai Sakurajima from Seishun Buta Yaro by Make Zero Studio. This is all you get. No cast off, no Hadaka, but this is enough fan service. This is good enough for me. And you get to choose between the face mask version, more like being tied up, face mask version, or the ball in mouth version, basically, yeah, Ahegao face with the mouth gag. So this is a tough choice because I think personally I will go for the Ahegao version because I love Ahegao faces, but this is pretty tempting. Even though it is $184, this is pretty tempting because it is the kind of figure which you never see genuine figure brands do. Yeah. Hey, I consider this to be a work of art. Or maybe I'm just making excuses. Moving on to the next one. From Craftsman Studio, we have medalist Yuitsuka Inori. $167. You can buy her unpainted for $97, but the painted one is $167. December release. Interesting. Medalist. Seasonal anime, right? I remember seeing the title. So this is pretty random. And man, that is a huge forehead. Big shiny forehead, brighter than my future. This is uncharacteristic of a third party. I would never expect them to make something this generic. Like almost idol character in a way, yeah. Moving on to the next one here. Wow, this is worth keeping an eye on. Even though it is just a grey prototype at the moment, from Meng Yaxiang Studio, a third-party brand that I can highly recommend. We have panty and stocking garter belt. So looks like there are a few versions over here. Obviously, no price or release date yet. Wow! Very dynamic pose. And then, yeah, two different sets, two different versions over here. They are incredible. They look beautiful. Whoa! And then there's the chibi version. Any fans of panty and stocking garter belt, watching this, like, this is a must-have, man. Jace, they are amazing. It is like secretly among the best figures this week, but not the best because they're not yet painted in a way. Yeah, wow. Right, moving on to the next one. Now we move into game characters section. Not too many this week. The first one is Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Why is it mentioned King of Fighters over there? That is wrong. By Origin Studio, 1x4 scale. There are two versions. One in these stockings over here, or one with barrel legs. So $293 at 1x4 scale. Okay, this doesn't really look like Chun-Li that much, but at the same time, it looks like an average Chinese girl, so acceptable face, I suppose, because it is obviously from China, Chun-Li, you know, but I've seen better faces of her by third parties, that's the thing. So I'm not sure if I can recommend this one. And God Max Factory did an incredible job with the 1x6 scale Chun-Li, which is pretty rare and expensive now. Yeah, the one where she's sitting on a block of concrete, that one was incredible. Alright, moving on to the next one here. We have the main highlight for third parties this week. So Doro is dominating both the genuine figures and the third party section. This is the best third party figure this week. Xiao Huan Xiong Studio Dorothy swimsuit, $230. There are 3 different versions, releasing in March next year. You know what? I have a prediction that eventually, within the next few months, or within the next 6 to 12 months, a genuine figure brand, can be Max Factory, can be anyone else, will make the same exact figure over here in PVC in 1x7 scale. It is going to happen. Yeah. So, I mean, it has happened to so many Blue Archive and Nikke figures already. It can't be coincidence. They have to be basing the character on an official artwork, right? So, if the third parties are doing it, eventually the genuine brands will do it. This is 1x6 though, a bit bigger, so it is up to you. Moving on to the next one here, we have one single Genshin Impact figure this week, and it is not a good one. Nurse Raiden Shogun by Shu Gongchang Studio, $212, December release. Now, the problem with this figure is simple. The face does not even look like Raiden Shogun. Like some generic anime character that has a small resemblance to Raiden Shogun just because she has purple hair. No, don't. I'm speechless, man. Sure, there are many other Raiden Shogun figures out there from third parties, not the genuine ones, and they can be pretty hard to find given that they came out a while ago. But despite that fact, I still wouldn't recommend this one. Yeah, because the face, once you screw up the face, it is game over. And the last figure for this week, yes, the last one is this Azur Lane Golden Liu, how to pronounce that, by Yao Mingming Studio, and the head is so small. Unfortunately, I couldn't show much because she is in a missionary position just for the sake of it. Like, yeah, it is fan service, but when you compare her head to the rest of her body, to her legs, it feels like her head is really small. Maybe the character design is like that. But I'm not sure if I like this one. Yeah, $184 releasing in March next year. Though the face looks pretty sweet. And that is all for figures on pre-order this week. Which one will you pre-order? Let me know down in the comments below. As usual, if you found this video informative or enjoyable, please to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this every week. Until then, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.